Om Vasudeva Sutam Devam Kamshuchanuramardanam Devaki Paramanandam Krishnam Bande Jagadguru. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Our salutation to Bhagavan Sri Krishna, son of Vasudeva, the darling of the mother Devaki, and the Guru of the entire universe, the Lord of the universe. We salute him again and again. Oh, peace, peace, peace. So we are back to the study of Bhagavatam, and we are on the book number 3 and chapter 3, 7, and we start verse number 26. Here, the Lord says, the sage Maitreya, the sage Maitreya was taught, asked by that this is the how to how the creation came. This question was answered, and now Vidura said that, and Vidura's response. It is a discussion between Maitreya Rishi and Vidura, and that has been narrated in the mouth through the mouth of Sukadeva. Now Vidura then started questioning further. He said in verse number 21 that this creation is permitted by God, that is one thing, but absolutely it is God's Leela. And now 21st verse again he narrated how the fundamental creation got into secondary creation, that is called Visharga. It said that we read the other day, the Lord first projected all categories, beginning with Mahat Tattva, up to the senses and the bhutas, indriyas and bhutas. And out of them, he manifested the cosmic being Virata, into whom he then entered. So he created this universe and he ultimately entered into it. The Virata, with the countless heads, arms, etc., support of all the discrete world, is his first manifestation. That is the first manifestation. He created the 5 bhutas, 24 principles, the sense organs, etc. And now creating, he entered into it. Now Vidura says that, Sir, O great sage, you described to me how in the Virata there came into existence these triads of the Indriyas, their objects, and the presiding deities. So how in this Virata, creating this, in this existence everywhere there are some sense organs, objects there, and there is the presiding deity of all the sense organs. And also the pranas, the vital powers, and the various varnas, the color. Now, describe to me further manifestation of his powers, which is known as Visharga. Now, Visharga he's asking to know what is Visharga. What is Visharga? Tell about his powers of manifestation by which the world came to be filled with people. Now, the world was created with senses, sense organs, and their bosses, their gods and goddesses, has been created to control the sense organs. Now, how then his power manifested? By which the world is filled with people related to each and each other, as some is son, grandson, etc. Who are Prajapatis? That means who is like that of Brahma, the master of all Prajapatis created. So who are the Prajapatis progenitors? And who is the Brahma, the master of all Prajapatis they created? What creations, intermediate creations, and manus, or the lords of the period of time called Manavatar, how did he create it? O son of Mitra, that means sage Maitreya Rishi, tell me about their lineage and the histories of those belongings to those lines, and also about the worlds that exist beyond and below the earth. So, how this entire creation came and how this entire universe is running, how it was populated, how the progenitors Brahma created others, all Prajapatis, all these details. To 27th verse. Describe their locations and their dimensions as also the creation and formation of various kinds of creatures. So he's asking how this Virat or the cosmic created. There were bhutas, sense organs, 24 Mahatattva, and then he entered into these Mahatatttas, and then it had Virat, countless heads, arms, all these things came, discrete world came. And then that this in the senses and their objects and the presiding deities, how they came into being, how the vital prana started working in them, and now how these powers are manifested and they came to be filled by people. The whole world is filled with people, and how they have started relationship with grandson, etc., etc. This relationship, who are the Prajapatis and how the Prajapati Brahma created other Prajapatis, etc. So these are some ancient time concepts, deep concepts, but we just going through reading it, and the response will come. Of course, there will understand the meaning of this more. So now he says that 27 verse describe their locations. These main, this Manavataro, these ages were created. Where are their location? In the earth plane, in the heaven plane, below plane. Describe their locations and their dimensions, as also the differences in creation, formation of various kinds of creature, like and not only men, animals, men, gods, serpents, birds, and the like, who can be classified as born of the womb, sweat, egg, and earth. These are all the creation. Hindu psychology will say they are either born out of the womb of mother, or it comes of the sweat of 27 verse. It says that Teshang samastang pramanang mulo kashiro tirjang manusha devata surisripo patati trara. That means animals, men, gods, serpents, birds, and the like, who can be classified as born out of womb, or sweat, or the egg and earth. Sedaja, Udvidaja, like that. So those are how they came. Describe the noble might of Mahavishnu, by which he assumed the role of the three Guna avatars, Brahma, Vishnu, and they are called Guna avatar. So these are all different definition. We are not very familiar. Manavataro, and this is now Guna avatar.
Manavatar is not human being.
That will come afterwards. So his Guna avatar is Brahma, Vishnu, Maheshwara, Shiva, for creation, preservation, and destruction. Describe also the division into Varnas and Ashramas. Chaturvarna, Chaturvarna, Brahman, Kshatriya, Vaishya, Shudra. How it came. Ashramas, Brahmacharya, Garastu, Banaprastu, Sannyasa. How they came. Varnas, Ashramas on the basis of form, conduct, and character. So they are divided because of their form, how they behave, and their character. The birth and the action of the rishis, how the rishis were born, and the division of the Vedas, how and its several branches. Describe all this. Huge questions. Tell us about Jagna and its performance, about yoga and jnana along with their sources. the Sankhya, and about the Pancharat, that means the Tantra, which has its origin in the Lord Himself. So Tantra has also its origin in God. So tell me about Tantra. Speak about the evils of atheism, those people who does not believe in God. What is the bad effect of that? Teach me, tell me about the retrogression of social order, how social order can be going in negative direction, and about the paths along which the jivas go in hereafter. After death, they go according to their karma. How they have to die, and after they die, they go into another planet, Sukshma Loka. How what happens to the departed soul? 32 verse. Explain how pursuit of the four aims of life can be made compatible. So tell me, four goals of life, dharma, artha, kama, moksha, how these pursuits can be made compatible, and what are the rules laid down about the Vaishya's duty of practicing trades. What is the principle? How the business people will practice trade, of the Kshatriya's duty of the use of the force, of the Brahmana's duty of scriptural study and teachings. So tell me how these four goals of life, dharma, artha, kama, moksha, can be made compatible, and what are the rules laid down about what are the rules? Vaishya's duty, what are those? The duty of the Kshatriyas, the duty of the use of force, and the Brahmana's duty, scriptural study and teaching. Tell about the funeral obsequies, the origin of Pitris, about the planets, stars, and galaxies, and about the wheel of time, Baba. So tell about, he's asking to know about what are the funeral obsequies. After death, people do perform all types of after death rituals. And the origin of the Pitris, how the Pitri Loko came and how the Pitri started, original Pitri Loko. About planets, how the planets come, stars came, galaxies, about the wheel of time, the time, great time passing. Describe what are the fruits of charity, of austerities, and of performance of ritualistic and philanthropic works. So describe what is the result if someone does charity, what is the result if one does austerity, what is the result of that, and of performing of ritualistic work or philanthropic work, what constitute the duties of man living far away from home. Suppose some people are away from home, so how they will perform these duties or in dangerous situations.
This question we started with how Prajapati Brahma created other Prajapati. Beginning from that, this is questions that don't have any consistency.
They are putting all types of questions, whatever may come. He wants to know from the sage Maitreya all these. I mean, this is not an ordinary person's question. All aspects of human life, even performance of action, doing some good work, charity work, austerity work, performance of ritualistic and philanthropic work. What are the benefit of that? What are the duties? Suppose if he's in the home, what will be there? Him if he's away from home, what will be his duties? All these things you want to know. Eh? Or in a difficult situation, dangerous situation, how can he perform all these duties? What will happen to them? What is the way of securing the grace of God, and to whom does he become gracious? So 38, 35 question, 35 verses. What is the way of securing grace of God? So all these duties are there, but how one can receive the grace of God, and to whom does he become gracious? That means so many people are performing all types of duties, but to whom God becomes gracious and compassionate. 36 verse. Revered sir, it is said that noble minded teachers instruct their faithful students and sons even on the matters on which they have not raised any question. So, that is the way. ideal teacher that even you don't ask the question, the ideal teacher will bring out those questions and respond. So, speak to me, Vidura says, speak to me, O Master, speak to me, even on such questions which I have not explicitly raised. So many questions I have put, but I have missed some questions. You also not only reply to my questions, but also tell explicitly the questions which are raised or which is not been raised by me. 37. How many types of dissolution of elements to their original state are there? How many types of dissolution of the elements? Element 27, 24 cosmic principles. Element maybe 5 element, Kiti Aptej Murudbom. So, or whatever we learn, how many types of such dissolution of the element? Element dissolves to their original state. Are there? How many items are there? In the state of cosmic dissolution, when the cosmic dissolution happens, in what all entities will go into abeyance with the Lord. Who all will attain on him? So who will merge in God? What are the elements? How at the time of perfect dissolution? That means collapse. Vishwa, when there will be no creation, that's the point. Purushasya cha samsthanam sarupam va parasya cha jnanam cha naigamam jattad guru shishya prayojanam. That is the 30th, next one. Speak about the nature of jiva. What is the nature of jiva? What is the nature of Ishvara? What is the nature? The is revealed by the Upanishads, and of the need and the nature of the relationship between the teacher and disciple. So, what is the relationship? Should be Guru Shishya Sambandha. Guru Shishya Prayojanam. What relationship should be there? Tell me, 39, about the means of acquiring that knowledge. 39. Nimittani cha tasya iho praktani anagha suribhi. How? Tell me about the means of acquiring that knowledge recommended by great teachers. Can men get knowledge, devotion, and renunciation by themselves? No.
It is very interesting because the questions about the rituals they cover the Smriti, and these are the Upanishadic part is the Shruti. So Purana.
All questions they are putting together to know from there is nothing left. That's why I call these are the text. What is not answered yet, there is no such question. So they start from that aspect. Now they are talking about the questioning about the Upanishadic idea. And tell me about the means of acquiring that knowledge, which is recommended by great teachers. Can men get knowledge, devotion, renunciation by themselves? Or is the need of a teacher and inescapable? Teachers, that is commonly asked, people ask that question. Is that necessary or it is inescapable? Or everyone will have to have that guru and disciple. A guru must be there. These are questions. Nimittani, it is said, Nimittani chatusyayo praktani anagha surivi swatogyanam kutak pungshan. Gyan can be acknowledged by himself or bhakti vairagya bevacha. How the bhakti can be achieved, vairagya can be achieved. All this rendered spiritually blind by the power of Maya, and at the same time eager to know about the Lord and His works, I am putting all these questions to you, considering you as a close and dear friend of mine. So here Vidura says that I am spiritually blind. My eyes are closed, spiritually blind, and but blind by the power of Maya. Maya has covered my eyes, but still I eager to know about the Lord and His works. And that is the reason I am putting all these questions to you. Why am I saying? Because you are very close to me and also very dear to friend of mine. Please speak to me on all these questions, matters. Nimittani chatasya proktani anagha bhurivi. Etan me prichata prashna. These questions I am putting. Hare karma vivitsaya. Bruhi me aggasya. Mitratvat ajaya nastu chakshusha. Nastu chakshu, I have no eyes to see. Therefore, please tell me all these reply to these questions. The study of all the Vedas performance of jagnas, charity, austerities cannot give even a little of that saving knowledge to one who seeks shelter from the travails of samsara. Only instruction by a competent teacher can do this. So I am asking you, reading of the scriptures, I know, Sarve Vedascha, all the Vedas one can learn, Jagnascha, can perform all Jagna, Tapo, austerity, Dana, all giving gifts. Oh, Jiva Abhaya Pradana Suna Kurbinan. By this, even doing reading the Vedas cannot do. Abhaya Pradhanasya Kalamapi. No one get that freedom. A competent teacher like that, only they can instruct. From them, one can realize God. Otherwise, even reading books, nothing will happen. Now, this is Shukadev again, now narrating going back, and Sukadev was talking to Parikshit, and Sukadev question, Parikshit put a question. Now Sukadev told an old story, that is the Rishi, the sage, what is called Maitreya, and the story of Vidura. Now the Suka said, being thus questioned about the teachings of the Puranas by the leading member of the Kuru clan, the great sage was mightily pleased to have had an opportunity to speak about the Lord, his doings, and his excellences, and replied as follows with gracious smile. So, hearing these beautiful questions, Sukadev said that the rishi, the sage, was very pleased seeing these intelligent questions, and then he get inspired to speak about Bhagavan Krishna and also his performance, his lila doings, his lila. Prabuddha harsho Bhagavat kathayam sanjidiyatastam prahasanniva. He then become very pleased, and with a great smile he become inspired to talk about Bhagavan Krishna. Here ends the chapter 7. So now we start reading 8th chapter.
So before that, we will take questions.
Who will have? Anybody has put one?
Questions are there.
We can add this at the end. 15 minutes early, you can leave. We'll leave early, then we can have some questions. Now, 8th chapter. Now, the questions have been put by Vidura in the 7th chapter. And now the 8th chapter is coming, where this sage Maitreya, the son of Maitra, is responding to this. So what is saying, these are the answers to all the questions. Maitreya said, the royal line of Puru will certainly receive the approbation of all good men, because great devotees like you are born in it. He is talking about Vidura. Vidura is born in a great devotee's family. That's why Vidura was such a devoted devotee of Bhagavan Krishna. Why? Why he is praising Vidura? The royal line of Puru will certainly receive the approbation of all God because great devotees like you means Vidura, are born in it. You are born such a serious student. You are born in the clan of Puru clan, royal line, and for by questions like this, you are every time reminding one and thereby renewing the memory of the glories of the Lord. So your questions itself is always reminding me, eh, renewing the memory of Bhagavan Krishna and his glories. So Maitra said, second verse, I shall begin the narration of that text concerning the Lord Bhagavatam, which he himself narrated to Sanaka and other rishis. Wow. Again, going into the story, and then Maitra is telling another story. What the story? Now I shall begin, Maitra said, says Maitra, I shall begin the narration. What narration? Narration of the text. Which text? Which is concerning with Lord, Bhagavan, Bhagavata, which he himself, means Bhagavan Krishna himself, narrated to Sanaka. Sanaka Sanandana Sanat Kumara. So I will now narrate that story with Lord Krishna himself, which he himself narrated to Sanaka and other rishis, and which has the power of assuaging the terrible suffering which men undergo in the process of pursuing petty enjoyments. So that will, because this is why they do it, it is not just to confuse us, but it is done because the scriptures, when Maitreya is not an arrogant person, a great sage, that's why he's saying it is not I am saying. In previous time, Narayana himself responded to this question, gives greater validity. When you say I say, you may say right or wrong, who knows? But when you say this has been I heard from Swami Brahmananda, then it gets more validity. And Brahmananda say, oh, I heard it from Ramakrishna. That gets validated more. So that is the why these back references always come into the Bhagavad to show two things. One, the greatness of the great sages. They are so egoless, they know everything, but all credit they want to give it to the predecessors and spiritually enlightened. Now, Sanat Kumara and other rishis, once, what is the story? Story is this. Sanat Kumara, this story begins. Sanat Kumara and other rishis once went to Patal, Netherlands, nether plane of existence, and approached Sankarshan, the original being, and one of unhindered knowledge residing there. So in that Patala, there resided Sankarshan. Sankarshan, who is Sankarshan? The original being and one of unhindered knowledge. His knowledge is never covered, residing in the Patala, and questioned him with a view to know about Vasudeva, the tattva still superior to him. Vasudeva tattva. So Sanat Kumara went and other rishis once went to Patala, and there was Sankarshan, and the Sankarshan, his why it is Sankarshan? Because his knowledge is not covered. He is residing there. And then it questions him with a view to know about Vasudeva. Sankarsana, whose mind was absorbed in a blissful contemplation, of Vasudeva, the foundation of his being, now opened his indrawn lotus-like eyelid a little to bless the rishis. So Sankarshan was meditating in the absorbed in the thought of Lord God. eh? And when this question came from the rishis, Sanat Kumara and others, then his eyes opened with a great compassion. He opened the eyes. 5 and 6 verse. He whose thousand hoods shed all around the luster of the gem-studded crown of one on them, whose lotus feet were being worshipped with the numerous offerings by serpent damsels praying for the suitable husbands, the Shana's feet now received the contact of the matted lock of the rishis sanctified by the holy waters of the Ganga. So the sadhus went there, Sanat Kumar went there, they saluted the feet of Nal, of Shankar, and as they prostrated themselves before him, while praising him, so they prostrated at the feet of Sankarsana. 7th verse. Then Bhagavan Sankarsana revealed this Bhagavatam. Then he told this Bhagavatam, what we are going to read, the response to all these questions. So Bhagavan Sankarsana revealed this Bhagavatam to Rishi Sanat Kumara, who had taken to the life of asceticism. Now Sanat Kumara imparted this knowledge to Sankhayana, who was living an austere life. And the Rishi Sankhayana, who was foremost among the order of Paramahamsas, imparted it to me, to my teacher Parasara, who was attended on him as a disciple, desirous of knowledge about the glories of the excellences of the Lord, and also to the sage Brihaspati. Now this Parasara, at the suggestion of Pulastha Rishi, and out of his benevolence, imparted this best of Puranas to me. I shall now impart it to you, dear one, who have been attending upon me. So here gives a lineage that is very important in Vedantic studies. Sanat Kumaro, then Bhagavan Sankarsana revealed this Bhagavat to Rishi Sanat Kumara. And then who had taken to the life of asceticism, he was a monk. Sanat Kumara imparted to Shankhayana, and who was living in an austere life, a austerity. Ascetic was Sanat Kumara, Shankhayana was austere, and the Rishi Shankhayana, who was foremost among the order of Paramahamsas, imparted to my teacher Parasara.
It's not Vyasha's father, Parashara. Different.
Then that Parasara, who was attending on him as a disciple, desirous of knowing about the glories and excellences of the Lord, as also to the sage Brihaspati. So Parasara, at the suggestion of Pulastha, and out of his benevolence, imparted this best of Puranas to me. Who is me? Me is who? Me is Sarat Kumara. I shall now impart to you, dear one, who have been attending upon me. Now the universe in chaos. Now, how the universe is coming, secondary creation. So here the theory is that verse number 10 of book number 3 and chapter 8 we are reading. 10th verse says, the universe in chaos. They will describe few verses on that. At the end of the creative cycle, the whole universe was plunged into cosmic water. in the state called pralaya, the dissolution of all effects into their causal state. So, at the end of the creative cycle, srishti, sthiti, and destruction, the universe was plunged into the cosmic water and in the state of pralaya. So, when pralaya or dissolution came, the entire universe was plunged into the cosmic water. Narayana lives on the ocean and there is nothing but water. The whole universe is plunged into that. Then he, what is he? The Mahavishnu. He, the Mahavishnu, lay on his serpent bed, all alone, his eyes closed, his activities suspended, and himself absorbed in the blissful self awareness of cosmic slumber. That is called the cosmic slumber. Cosmic slumber, what is that? Eko kritaknana swatmarato niriha udaplutam viswamidam tadasit asit daya milito angri milyaya. Anyhow, so he is with the subtle efficacies of all gross entities held in abeyance in him, his power, time commissioned to wake up at the due time. He lay in the cosmic waters in complete absorption in his own supreme state, and his powers indrawn, just like fire in wood when it is not a flame. That means the power which was like a wood has a fire inside. So in him was this whole creation was kept inside. When he had thus spent a period of 1,000 Chaturjugas, eh, Nara Mahavishnu spent a period of 1,000 Chaturjugas in the slumber of self-awareness. It is slumber, but slumber of being absorbed in himself. His power of time, as commissioned by himself, stimulated his suspended power of action into operation. That means with the power was absorbed in him, after a certain rest, he decided, then he wake up, and that energy came up. Whereupon he saw within himself the whole universe in its ideal form, lying in dissolution in his own being. When he thus viewed the universe in latent condition in himself, those efficiencies burst out through his navel uh, under the stimulation of the power of rajas, which was under the regulation of time. So in the time, big time, it is not the ordinary time, in the cosmic time period, in gradually the navel from the navel zone came this infinite sprouted the energies under stimulation of the power of rajas and was under the regulation of time. All these efficiencies took the form of a lotus bud. So in the navel there came a Padma, lotus bud. And it is a bud. Bud means it is not manifested. And as it came out with its root in him, it illumined the expansive cosmic water. So the entire water was dark. And when that lotus came out, that it became bright and lighted, just like the rising sun. Into that lotus, illumining all things, the all pervading being entered. Into that lotus, illumining all things, the all pervading being entered. Say, in that lotus entered the all pervaded being. Thereupon there appeared in the lotus the creator Brahma, who is called the self born and the embodiment of the Vedas. So there come in the lotus appeared the creator Brahma. So in the that's why it is navel of Krishna, Lord Narayana Mahavishnu, Brahma comes in the lotus first as a creative force. Now, what Brahma will do? Brahma was sitting in the center of the lotus, in the lotus of the navel, which came from Narayana, Vishnu. So he was sitting in the center of that lotus. So he scanned the sky all around, and whereupon he developed four faces. So he scanned the sky all around, and when he was doing that, he developed four faces: one east, west, north, south. That's why Brahma has four faces. We have a image in our monastery. Somebody gave four-faced Brahma. So that is the Brahma. He came out in the lotus and he gazed all over the world. And then, so east, west, north, south. So four faces came. Brahma became four faces. Brahma, who found himself, Brahma, who found himself in the lotus, which had risen from those waters that were being beaten into a succession of waves by the winds, attending the world's dissolution, did not understand anything about himself or the lotus holding the world in a germinal form. So Brahma could not understand anything. There's only water everywhere, and, and the waves of the wind is now blowing the waters, but he didn't know about himself or the lotus which is holding. Who am I, having my residence in the lotus? Wherefrom has sprung this lovely entity, this lotus amidst these waters? Where is it based? It must certainly have a basis. So he then thought, how I am here? Where is the lotus? How the lotus started? Where is the beginning of lotus? So all thinking thus, he tried to get into the depths of the waters, to the central hollow of the stalk of the lotus, but found no end even after going down very far. A very beautiful description. From the navel of Lord Mahavishnu, there was a lotus, and in that lotus, Brahma was sitting inside, and he tried to find out, so who am I? Where am I? Looking all around, he instantly generated four faces, and then he went to fathom it. Where am I sitting? Went to the stem of that lotus and went down, 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 but could not find any basis of that. Found no end even after going down very far. In the darkness of ignorance, Brahma searched for his origin for a vast period of time. The rolling wheel of the Lord, which terrifies all embodied beings by consuming their span of life. Defeated in his purpose, Brahma abandoned his quest outside and resumed his seat in the lotus. Then he controlled his vital energies, drew his mind inward, and entered into the state of concentrated absorption, samadhi. For 1,000 of years, Brahma was in that state of spiritual communion, and in his mind, that was now well concentrated, dawned the truth of the Lord as the indwelling spirit, which he had failed to realize by his earlier quest outside. So he says that Brahma was trying to find the where from I come, looking around the east, west, all the side outside. He could not find it. Then it okay, let me see where I'm sitting. Let me go down. What is the source? So he entered to what's called the stem of the lotus and went down, 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 down deep, could not find anything. Then he thought that being defeated in purpose, he gave up all his other quest outside, searching him. And then he sat in his concentrated mood, tried to find what within, and went into deep samadhi there. And for hundreds of years, Brahma was seated in the state of spiritual communion, and the mind was now well concentrated on the truth of the Lord as the indwelling spirit. See below that Brahma understood that God, the indwelling spirit, is the cause, that is the root from which I have come,
It will be
which he
interesting.
failed to realize it earlier quest.
It will be interesting that the same thing in Satyakam also that said east, west, south, north, that Prachi Vikala and that is Satyakama space. And also Sri Ramakrishna said that the bird went east, west, south, north like that.
Hmm,
These all three of them are the same thing.
right. That's Kotari.
8th November.
So we have read enough today, or you can Brahma's vision of the Lord. Then I can 15 minutes are there.
Yeah, many questions are also.
Okay, so let it be. Let us end here. So we end here on the verse number 9 chapter, 8 chapter, verse number 22. We end it. So next time we'll read from the verse number 23, where Brahma's vision of the Lord. Brahma tried to find the truth within, and they concentrated on deep samadhi, and in that he understood what is. He found him, the sole existence, lying on the bed, constituted of the huge body of the serpent Adiseso, of sparkling whiteness, whose thousand umbrella-like hood with their luminous glow of the precious stone on them, dispel the gloom of cosmic darkness and overcasting the water around. We'll read it there next time. Okay, thank you. So we end here. Om Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Hari Om Tat Sat Sri Ram Krishna. Now we'll go for a few questions.
7:30 class.
And then next class will be 7:30. Nishan.
Yeah. First three questions are for him.
Acha. Nishant has a question. Can those who have not yet received Diksha study and practice Tantric Puja, like learning from Swami Hitanandaji's book or the various Tantras? You know, when you are talking about these pujas, these are not that serious things which the Tantric Puja they are talking about. All pujas are Tantric. Vedic Puja is also there, that's a different type. So Tantric Puja, yes, there should be uh, practiced like worshipping puja. Anyone with our modern age, Ramakrishna said, if you do anything with devotion, the purpose of Tantric Puja is to tune us with God. So if someone is learned the process, like you say that the book of Hitanandaji's book, he has taken help of the tantric books only. Original process is the same tantric worship. So if you think that Hitanandaji is the teacher, he has taught it to some people, and they have taught their other people, and that's the way you are also learning that puja. I think that is okay. There's no problem without even initiated or non-initiated. To my view, broad-minded opinion, I will think that does not make any difference. If the heart is pure and asking for God, the grace of God, I think it's okay. Gaurapadu's teacher is supposed to be Shukadeva, and since Nangta belongs to the Shankara Dasanami, does that mean that Sri Ramakrishna's Vedantic Parampara is Gaurapada and Shukadeva? Yes, Ramakrishna can be classified in any group you like, because when he practiced, he followed the tradition of that particular path. So when he practiced Vedanta, he practiced the path what Nangta Tutapuri taught him. And Tutapuri got that training from their Guru Parampara, that is the Gaurapada, Sukadeva Gaurapada. So in that sense, that Sri Ramakrishna's Vedantic Parampara is, yes, of course, because though he is God himself, but he has his parampara. Parampara is very important in spiritual life, tradition. Otherwise, people, and you see the problem of people who don't follow parampara, there is no system. No. Suppose someone goes into your kitchen, very gross example, grows your kitchen and does not know anything what to what, and they will make a mess of it. And if the Guru Parampara, even anyone coming, we say, oh, ho, this is here, that is here, don't take it, don't take it. This is the Parampara. Because just you go enter and you can do everything, and you can make all these things misplaced and disturbed, and which will be risky to find out. Knife is in another place, this spoon is another place.
Actually,
So,
Guru Parampara Sutra says that. This is the Guru Parampara Sutra.
Guru Parampara Sutra, bah, very good. Then we can read that Sutra. Narayanam, ito. Narayanam, from Narayanam came Padma Bhuvam, and Padma Bhuvam means, ito, Narayanam, the Padma, the lotus. And Padma Bhuvam, then Vasishtam, Shakti, Vasishtam,
His son
Shakti.
Shakti.
Eh?
Vasishta's son was Shakti.
Vasishta, his son is Shakti. Chatatputra Parasara, then his son Parasara, then that which is called Vyasa, then Shukadev, Gaurapadam, Mahantam, Govindam, Jogindram. So Govindapada, Jogindram, from Govindapada to Jogindra to Sisya, Shankaracharjam. Oh, Govinda, who is the Jogindra, who is the Indra, Lord of Yoga practice. From Govindapad came Shankaracharya. Shankaracharya came Padmapada. Padmapada, Hastamalakosh, in all the Totakam Bhattika Karo. Vannan Asmat Gurun Santatam Anturusi. Sada Sivam Samarabha from Lord Shiva. Shankaracharya and Madhyama, being in the middle, Shankaracharya. Asmat Purjantam, from today even, all the Guru Parampara. So that Guru Parampara.
So Shukadev is actually Gaurapada's Guru.
So it is, that's why Totapuri, Guru, yes, it follows the same tradition of Vedantic. So you can say the Vedantic Parampara is Gaurapada and Sukadeva. What about Thakur's Tantric Parampara? Tantric Parampara will be Bhairavi Brahmani. And Bhairavi Brahmani, all the 64 ways of Tantric practice, there are ideal teacher which was taught from the Guru down to their disciple to disciple. Similarly, 64, out of 64, one tradition. And Bhairavi learned that. So he has the tradition coming from his Har Guru, Har Guru, Har Guru, Har Guru. So all the process, there must be Guru Parampara, Bhairavi Brahmani. And who was Bhairavi Brahmani's Guru? That was I do not know because no one asked that question to Bhairavi. And those are also, they used to keep secret about their Guru. Nowadays, people we come to know, who are you initiated? They say, I am from that. And big people like this, Gaurapado, Govindapado, they know they're well-renowned people. So their disciples said that he got it from his Guru. His Guru's name was this. So Bhairavi's Guru, we do not know what is the name. But she spent long time in Assam area where the tantric practice is more powerful. So she learned from their Gurus. And even if you go to what is Birbhum, what is the place? Birbhum, there in the Birbhum, the Tarapit. If you go to Tarapit, there is in Bengal, not far away from Calcutta. There is, you can find all types of tantric practices are going, and there each one has their teacher. So that they learn from their teacher. Otherwise, if you don't learn the teaching and do practice, you will fall. So that is it. That's one question. Another, Bill Starmer. Would a dualist have a different interpretation of this knowledge from a non-dualist or qualified non-dualist? Different interpretation, of course. What is dualism? what is qualified non-dualism, or what is uh, non-dualist and qualified non-dualist and dualist. So three are different interpretation. True, you are correct, because they are talking about the one truth, but viewing from a different perspective. So dualists have a different interpretation of this knowledge. Yes, dualist will say God is in the form, God is compassionate, God is only protecting us and giving us sustenance. But Vedanta will say, who is God? There is no God, there is no me. It is all consciousness, and I am that. So, yes, there are wrong and different interpretations of the same truth. Sun is the same, but interpretations are different as we view the sun from different levels. So, dualistic view, suppose dualistic view example, you look at the rising sun, you are sitting in the beach, or you see the sunrise is coming. So the sun, you see the sun in dual. You are there separate, and the sun is separate. And you see the big size, how big is that sun size, and how small is your size. Now, if you go very close, take a rocket and move towards the sun. So you move very close, you see the sun is so big. And if you are very close to the sun, then you will see that you are all burning, you are all heat, nothing else. The sun is made of heat and light. You are also becoming heat and light. And if you go further close, then you are nothing but the sun. So these are the different views looking from a different perspective, so from a different distance. As we are away from God, we see God as personal. When we go closer, it is not personal but qualified, like the tree and the branches. They are separate at the same time, not separate. A tree and the branch, we don't separate, but it is separate. You say it is the plant, it is the leaf. Leaf is a part of the tree. Leaf and the tree, there is a difference. That's called swagata. Swagata. In this own oneness, there is duality. And when that also merges, it is the tree only. So there are all different interpretation of the same reality, the same knowledge. But it is, as my mind moves into higher and higher realm, they all merge into oneness. Another question. When Vishnu entered the lotus from the Guna Rajas and become Brahman, is that the point at which the supreme reality become associated with Maya? Is very great question. So I am not very clear about it. Maya is already there because Vishnu is lying in a sleep, great slumber. So when it is in great slumber, that who is all pervaded, he is in sleeping, means they are in the realm of tamas quality. So it may be under the realm of Maya. I think like that. So anyway, the main thing is that ultimate reality is the one, and if we move towards God lovingly or path of analysis, whatever way we move, the end will be the same. End will reach the same end, and when we lose God consciousness. Okay, so thank you all for attending. Whoever today's weather is very um, gloomy, and also rainy. It's good for Los Angeles to have some rain. Uh, but so thank you all for being attending in online or here. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. So peace. We'll see you at 7:30, and we'll read the chapter 7 today, the last chapter of the Shanti Gita, Song of Peace. Thank you. Jai Ma.